Troll is a new Norwegian movie on Netflix and has some of the best creature creation, CGI, and inventiveness I've seen in any movie in a long, long time. Let's talk about why. Hey guys, I'm Carl. Welcome to my Movie Film Show. Feel free to subscribe down below if you would like to. But we're here today to talk about Netflix's latest movie, Troll. Now, as I already mentioned, Troll is a Norwegian movie. It's a sci-fi, mythological, crazy movie. And I've stated before on the channel when talking about certain Netflix movies that Netflix don't seem to make good movies. They're few and far between, in my opinion. There's very, very, very few very good Netflix movies. Is Troll one of them? We'll get to that. I saw stills from this movie ages ago and it caught my attention. So I kept an eye on the progress of it and the poster was really cool. It's over here somewhere. Or maybe it's over one of the sides. And then I checked out the trailer when it came out not too long ago and I was like, the CGI in this is amazing. The creature creation is damn impressive. Hopefully it's going to hold up in the whole movie and you haven't just given the trailer a little bit of a polish. Recently, I mentioned when I was speaking about Tarantino's comments about the MCU, in that I mentioned how CGI in the MCU is getting a lot of flack lately. The CGI in this is fantastic in my opinion. I'm sure there's going to be people going, it wasn't great for me, wasn't great on my TV or projector or whatever. I found it to be amazing. The troll in the actual movie fits into the background so well. He looks realistic at times. They did a phenomenal job with it. And for a small non-Hollywood movie on a smaller budget, they've done phenomenal work. There was certain aspects of the visuals that weren't quite Hollywood level, didn't quite have that Hollywood polish, and maybe that helped blend the effects into the background because noise often does that. You could tell this movie was made by a talented filmmaker who didn't have the biggest and perhaps most expensive technology to work with, expensive cameras and lenses and all that, but they had a good vision and they executed that. The story of the movie is kind of basic because breaking it down to its most basic form, a troll is awoken after an explosion when they tried to form a tunnel. I think they're digging a tunnel to Dover, and when they set off explosives, they awaken a mythological troll. At one point they mention he's 150 feet tall, and this troll starts making his way towards Oslo, crushing everything in his path. Some really cool visual effect shots, even when he walks through a house. You don't see him walk through the house, you just see the aftermath. And ultimately, the people of Norway, the government, the military, they had to figure out a way to stop him alongside a paleontologist who just happens to be important to the story. Now, the story's kind of basic. There's a troll, he's causing trouble, he's causing damage, the people are freaking out and they have to find a way to stop him. You know, it's not super inventive, it's not super original, but it all comes down to the execution. And as I say, visually, it has a lot of things going for it. It doesn't quite have that Hollywood polish, but the visual effects are spectacular and make up for that. It's visually very interesting. Some phenomenal landscapes in the movie as well, and some phenomenal sound design within the movie. And the movie is in Norwegian, so when I watched the movie, I watched the dubbed version, which is often, you know, a little distracting because the voice doesn't match up. I probably should have watched the subtitled version, that would have been more enjoyable. But it makes it harder to judge whether the jokes are as good or whether the acting is as good, because it doesn't quite, you're not quite getting the same performance from the actor. You're not hearing their voice, you're not hearing their delivery, you're hearing a different actor's delivery. But what I will say is, for the most part, I really enjoyed the movie. However, the movie is almost 2 hours long, and I did at certain points find myself picking up my phone, getting a little bit distracted and having to rewind a little bit because I was like, oh crap, maybe I need to pay attention to that. The movie at certain points didn't quite keep my attention all the way through. So perhaps the movie could have been about 20 minutes shorter. The pacing at the beginning is electric. It's bang, 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 perhaps even on the cusp of being a little bit too fast. It's quite enjoyable at the beginning. There's a mystery to it, and ultimately we get down to an effect shot, which they have in the trailer, so I don't think this is too much of a spoiler, but where there's two people talking, they're talking about whether the troll even exists. And all of a sudden, an eye appears out of the landscape, because that's how the troll hides. He basically is part of the land. The visuals are what really make this movie. As I mentioned, the story's kind of basic. It's hard to judge the acting. The pacing isn't phenomenal, and the movie is a little bit long, but overall, it's quite an enjoyable movie. The ending, you know, it could have been better, it could have been more exciting, or they could have gone a different way, but it was fine. It's an enjoyable movie, it's a unique movie, and it's certainly one of the better Netflix movies I've seen. Is it the surprise hit of 2022? No. But ultimately, we get down to a rating out of 10 for Troll. For me, it's a solid, enjoyable movie which I would happily give a 7 out of 10 and recommend checking out on your next movie night. However, if you're looking for something a little bit darker on your next movie night, I'd recommend checking out my review of Barbarian, because what a hell of a good movie that was. And if that's not your thing, I've got another video for you to check out right over here. Bye.